If you're a pet owner with a dog or a cat, you really need to hear this message. I think we can all probably agree. One of the most terrifying things that could possibly happen, and I'm sure it's happened to all of us at some point, you let your beloved animal outside just like every other day, and all of a sudden 2 minutes later, you look out the window and they're nowhere to be seen, right? Have you had this happen? I know that I certainly have, and it can be very, very, very scary. Unfortunately, there are people out there with ill intentions that are exploiting these types of situations, and it's happening very often, every single day, to a lot of people all across the country, and I want to bring it to your attention here in this video. Now, I also have this article right here, which I will pop up on the screen in just a second so you can see and read for yourself exactly what they're talking about and what is actually happening, and I'm going to say this much. This is disgusting. The animals are fine. They're not being injured in any way, shape, or form. That would be really, really bad. But the actions in which some people are taking that are exploited here in this article is honestly really, really like disgusting actions that some people are taking. Anyway, I want to bring this to your attention. And again, I know that a lot of you that watch these videos have either a dog or a cat or multiple or some of each, and that's awesome, right? Either way, let's pop this article up right here, right now, and let's talk through these details. So, unfortunately, the little example that I gave a little bit earlier where you let your animal outside and you look out a little bit later and they're gone. Uh-oh, where'd they go? Where'd little Billy go? Hey, Billy, where are you, right? Well, you start looking around, and all of a sudden, after a little while, you realize, uh-oh, my dog or my cat has gone missing. Now what do I do, right? Sometimes people make postings on things like Facebook or Craigslist, or maybe hang up signs or banners, or make, internet postings around their local area to alert the local individuals that say, hey, my dog or my cat is missing. If you've ever seen anything, please give me a call. I would like to pick up my animal, right? Things like this. Well, unfortunately, there are impersonators that are calling and pretending to be from a local shelter or something along these lines and saying, hey, my name is XYZ and I've got your dog here at the local shelter, but unfortunately, something has happened. We need to do emergency surgery on your dog or your cat. Well, I think most of us would probably agree. If we were to receive some type of call like this, we'd be very, very scared and feel like, oh no, is Billy okay? Let's make sure that Billy has the necessary, care that the animal needs. Let's take those necessary steps. Well, this impersonator from a local shelter calls and says, oh no, Billy needs some surgery right now, and we need to take payment up front. We're going to need you to Venmo, Cash App, or send some money immediately so that Billy can get this life-saving surgery immediately, right? Well, guess what? Huge shock. It's a scam. Yeah, it's a freaking scam. Who are the disgusting people that do this, right? Anyway, so apparently this is the situation. Now, obviously, the pet owner who's been looking for little Billy for all these days is panicked, thinking that, oh no, something has happened to my beloved Billy. We need to do something right away. Sure, don't mind if I do. I will Cash App, I will Venmo you immediately so you can take that necessary life-saving procedures so that little Billy will be fine and can come home in the next couple days, right? Well then, again, this is where they prey on people that are unfortunately getting these calls and falling for this, sending over that money, when in reality, they don't have little Billy. They're not doing life-saving surgery on little Billy, but rather it's a disgusting scam. And that's it. They don't have little Billy, and they don't even know where little Billy is, and they don't even really care where little Billy is. So, anyway, I know that this is one of those types of situations where it's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that people actually do this. Well, unfortunately, it is actually happening, and there are animals that go missing every single day across the entire country, and that's exactly what these individuals are exploiting as well. And again, I know that a lot of you here in this community that watch these videos, and realistically, a lot of people across the entire country have animals. Like, a huge percentage of the population has some type of animal, and unfortunately, I think we can all probably agree, as I mentioned earlier, this has probably happened to all of us at some point. Now, a lot of the times, it probably does get resolved where, oh, little Billy was just on the opposite side of that tree sniffing around, or whoops, Billy was up in the tree climbing around, right? And all is fine most of the time. But unfortunately, in some instances, little Billy actually does go missing, and then we need to set up, maybe a local search or something along these lines and reach out to local neighborhoods and, reach out on maybe Facebook or Craigslist or whatever the method in which people do to try to find and bring little Billy home safely, right? I just want you to be aware of this because there are so many freaking scams right now. It is like nuts, right? One thing I was thinking about as well, and who knows, maybe I shouldn't say this, but as much as Americans get scammed from like overseas individuals, have you ever wondered, do Americans scam overseas individuals just as much as they scam us? I don't think so. I don't know. Maybe I'm totally wrong by that, and maybe I shouldn't say that, but it makes me wonder if Americans are conducting just as many scams on other individuals outside of the country and overseas as they do on us. I just really don't think so. I don't know. Maybe I'm totally wrong by that. I'd be very curious to look up some information on that. But again, why are Americans continuously targeted with these scams? Well, generally, the entire globe looks at Americans as rich people. We're all a bunch of rich people, right? That is so far from the truth for the vast majority of people. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's certainly some rich people out there for sure, but the vast majority of the people in the United States are certainly far from it. And probably in one of these types of situations, probably don't really have an extra few $100s laying around to fall for one of these situations and then still not have little Billy back in their possession at the end of it. Is that going to make sense? Right? So anyway, again, as I always like to say, anytime that I present details like this, and again, this is kind of like very much outside the realm of what I talk about here on this channel, but when I come across articles like this, and I see this information, and I read this, and I think, oh, that's really sad, that's really unfortunate, and that's like really disturbing that people actually do this. But when I come across this information, I feel like it is my moral duty to make a video for you on this, and at least bring this to your attention. Again, I could look through this, I could read it and think, that's too bad. Too bad people are falling for this. I don't know. I feel like that does not serve anybody by me just reading it and then passing along, right? But rather, when I read this information, I feel like, if this is going to help anybody here in this community, if it would help even one person save money and not fall victim of something like this, it is certainly worth my time to make this video. And that's exactly why I want to do this, even though it's completely outside the realm of what I talk about here on this channel, which is generally low income, fixed income, Social Security, SSDI, survivors, spousal, retirement, SSI, VA, RRB, money, benefits, stimulus, the dividend payments, any programs that are out there for low income. That's generally the focus. Food stamps, that's another big one as well that I talk about here as well. All of these programs like this, that's generally what I talk about. But I don't sit here and talk about dogs, cats, and pets all the time at all. In fact, I never do, right? But I want to bring this to your attention because I know that a lot of you in this community that watch these videos have animals like this. And I thought, you know what? If this is going to help save anybody a few $100s from one of these types of situations, it is certainly worth it to talk about it. Anyway, I hope this helps you to some degree. Please watch out. Everything that's going on right now. Just please be very, 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 very careful. Never send money to anybody. And I know that sounds super basic, like, duh, we would never do that. Well, obviously some people are, because people continue to fall victim of this every single day. All these various scams that are out there. Please be very safe. Anyway, I'm here for you. Again, happy holidays. Hopefully little Billy will never go missing for all of us, but you never know. Unfortunately, that does happen every so often. Drop a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you. Has your little Billy gone missing ever? And again, obviously I'm using the word Billy as just a generic name here, but you get my point, right? Which, by the way, my grandma had a cat, and the cat's name was Billy. Yes, Billy was the name of the cat, and that was a very mean, nasty cat. That cat did not like me, and I always tried to pet it, and that thing just basically attacked me every time I tried to touch it. It did not like me for some reason. Anyway, little Billy. All right, anyway, hope this helps you. Please enjoy your day. Subscribe if you're new here. Please share the video. Otherwise, have a good day. Happy holidays, and I'll catch you again in the next video very, very soon. All right, I'll catch you.